Okay, the sounds that I'm going to focus on are P and B, P and B. The reason being because I think students can quite often mishear them or misunderstand the words in listening or in connected speech. The sounds that they make generally don't cause too many problems. Well, not for me, because in context I know what they're saying. Or perhaps in the real world they might have a bit of an issue. So the activity I'm going to do is one that I got from one of my lovely fellow teachers, called Pear versus Bear. So we will have on the board a picture of a pear, a picture of a bear, and add the words underneath. And I would divide the class into A and Bs, A, B, A, B, A, B. The A's would be animals, and when they heard the bear, the animal, they have to stand up. The others would be the fruit, and when they hear pear, then they have to stand up. I would read out 8 sentences. Things like, my mother makes a wonderful pear tart, or waiter, there's a bear in my soup. Okay, so logical and illogical sentences. After we do this activity, I will put the phonemes b, p, and b on the board, and we will drill these. And I will explain to the students how to make the sound. For example, exaggerate it a little bit, get them to take in a deep breath, and then put their lips together as if they're going to breathe out, but not to let the air out. Okay, to hold it, and eventually let the air out. So, okay. I could get them to do this twice by saying, okay, one, use your voice, the other time don't. But I think that's quite difficult to explain to perhaps younger students or lower levels. So the way I would do it is with a bit of paper. So I would get them to make the 2 sounds. The first one, explain that when they make the p, p, p sound, the paper will move. But when they make b, b, the paper should stay still. So I will get them to practice this, and we will drill. I will point to one and they will tell me the correct, or give me the correct sound. The weaker ones, if they want, can use the paper, and the stronger ones, if they feel comfortable, they can take the paper away. But I think it's good so that they can physically see that they're making the right sound. I can see it, and we can also hear it. The next thing I would do is I would put them into pairs and would get them to practice the sentences that I read to them. I would give them on paper. I'd get them to practice saying them in their pairs. After that, I would put more words on the board, so some minimal pairs on the board, things like big, pig, buy, pie, bat, pat, cab, cat, etc. on the board. And we would drill these sounds together as a class and then individually, and get them to practice these words. Then we would do another little activity. We put them in different pairs for a little competition. So we'd have one side would be facing the board, the other partner would be with their back to the board. I would circle one of these words, and the student who is facing the board would have one opportunity to say this word correctly to their partner, and their partner would write it down, but the other person can't see the paper. We would do this for, depends, maybe 6-7 sentences, and at the end, the ones who had the most correct words win, and then we would swap over so that both students are getting a chance to hear the sound and to make the sound. So that's a really fun activity for them. So I think that would work perfectly, drilling all of these things. And then I think problems with them is, for example, in the first activity when they're listening for the animal or the fruit, I think they might be listening and think logically, oh well, this sentence, it must be an animal. This is the reason why we're going to put logical and illogical sentences in there, so they have to listen for the sound. They can't just go, oh, it must be that one. Other things, I think with the paper, maybe the shyer ones might feel a bit silly, but if we're all doing it together, and generally I'm the first to make a fool of myself in class, so I think if they see other people doing it, it would be quite fun. Perhaps it would mean that they're over-exaggerating, but when I'm monitoring while they are doing the activities to check they're making the sounds correctly, I would try and get them to get it less exaggerated when they're doing it, and then later we can try listenings again and see if they're doing it. I think it's a good exercise as well because it can be planned into your lesson, but also it's quite simple and easy to do. You don't need too many materials if it's something that arises in class and you have to react to it. Okay, I hope I've remembered everything. Thanks.